Hello, everybody. Just kidding. My accent isn't that cool. So I've recently got into this really cool hobby called fluid acrylic art. And when I show people my paintings, they're like, how do you do that? Well, it gets a really long and drawn out explain it to them, so I thought I'd do a video to show how I mix my paints. Here's one of my paintings. My color isn't very good in the camera. I don't have an expensive camera, so anyways, one of the things you need is Flood Floetrol. I got this from Lowe's for $15, and it's a gallon size. I've seen a line where some people are using Elmer's glue wall and water, and I tried that at first. It worked, but it felt like I was going through it a lot faster, and I wasn't getting as many paintings out of it. With this gallon of Floetrol, I have gotten several paintings, and I just bought my second gallon. This was $15, like I said, at Lowe's. You need water. So the Floetrol and the water, you mix that together. That makes your pouring medium. You need your paint. And there's this thing called Cell Activator. You can get it at Lowe's or at Michael's. They were out when I went. But I found out that, first of all, these are cells where the color pops up through the paint. I found out an alternative that I can use, and it is called Argan Oil of Morocco by OGX. It has dimethicone in it. You can also use the coconut oil. Anything, I've even seen people use the silicone lubrication, personal lubrication. As long as it has dimethicone in it, it will do what you need it to do. Now, I put my oil in these little bottles because you got to put it in drops. You have to measure how many drops to put in, and this just kind of pours out. These were two for $1 at Dollar General. Now, I use these to mix my paints in. They're $1 at Dollar General, 97 cents at Walmart. I like to mix them in these, like this bottle here, because you can put the cap on it and store it for, I think these paints are like 3 or 4 weeks old that I have mixed up already here. If they don't dry out, you just give them a good shake. They might thicken up a little bit, add a little water, thin it down. Okay, so to make your pouring medium, to mix your paint, I don't make my pouring medium separate. I just kind of all mix it together in the bottle. You have to have 2 parts of your Floetrol to 1 part paint and 1 part water. So these bottles, this is folk art. I believe this was 97 cents. The deco art is 50 cents a bottle. I've used Craftsmart. I've used Art Deco. These are all along the cheaper brands of the paints because I really can't afford the expensive ones. But these have worked out so good for me, these cheaper line of paints. I still get great color out of them. They come in 2-ounce bottles, like I said. Another thing I have, a scale. This is not mine. I did not buy this. I stole it from my husband. He does drones. He weighs them to see how much they weigh because they have to be under a certain amount of weight to not have to register them. I stole it fair and square. But I still try to take care of it because he'll get mad if I get paint all over it. First thing you want to do is turn it on. Put your empty bottle without the cap on there, and you zero it out. It's at 0. I do it in ounces because the paint comes in ounces. Now, I flip my bottle over, let my paint pour out. And this color, by the way, is a metallic color by Folk Art. It is called Blue Sapphire. So it's going to be shimmery and shiny and glittery looking. All right. Now, when I add my water to it, I do not pour straight from my measuring cup. I'll pour my water into this bottle so that I can shake it and get all my paint out of it. I don't want to waste any of it. I do this a couple times, get it all good and off the sides of the bottle and stuff. So, if I have 2 ounces of paint, 2 times 2 is 4. That means I need 4 ounces of Floetrol and 2 ounces of water. in the end, I'm going to end up with 8 ounces of paint altogether, which goes a long way. So I've got my 2 ounces of paint. Now I need to add 2 ounces of water. .8. So the 2 ounces of water will bring it up to 4 ounces. A little bit more. Come on. Maybe I should have just put 2 ounces of water in there. That would have been a lot quicker. Alright, I'm at my 4. Which I did with the Floetrol. I did measure it to the 4 ounce mark. This is my 3rd attempt at this video, by the way. The first one, I've poured my Floetrol in straight from the jug and it went everywhere. The second attempt, I started to do my paint and forgot to zero out my scale, so it wasn't going to measure right. Okay, so now 4 ounces of Floetrol should bring me up to 8. Come on. It's as slow as molasses. Alright. I'm at 8. Let me rinse this out real quick. Alright. So, they say you're supposed to put a drop for every ounce. I'm not putting 8 in. I've never put that much in here, but this is that argan oil that makes my sails. I'm gonna put about 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Now you put your lid on. Give it a good shake. I can always kind of check and make sure, because sometimes your Floetrol will stick to the sides of the bottle. Can't tell if that's because of the metallic or if it's Floetrol. So, that's mixed. And that's how you do with your paints. They say you want your metallics, you want to make them a little thicker because they tend to go to sink to the bottom under the thin or the other paints, and they don't show up in your paints in your paintings as well. But I wanted to show you about the thickness this is. Okay, so this is some paint I had mixed up in one of my bottles, and I needed a bottle to mix some more paint. So I poured it in this cup. I'll use it today before it has a chance to dry up. This one's kind of thin, but if you look, it runs off your stick. And it's real low in there. It leaves just a little bit of a trace where you can see it on top of the other paint. You can't get it to show. But it thins your paints down, this technique, the pouring medium and everything. It makes your paint move across the canvas without messing with the integrity of the color of your paint. And there's things you can add to it, like I have this pearl iridescent that gives other paints a shimmer to it, just like this metallic will. So that's how you mix it. If you have any questions, hit me up, and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, and before the day's over, I'm going to do a paint with some of this paints I have mixed up so you can show. And I believe the technique I'm going to do a dip, because I believe that is the easiest technique to do for beginners. And they're fun. You get some really pretty results out of it. All right, guys. Have a good one.